Hi guys, it's Paula from PSEN Creations. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're returning. Today's video is a flip through of this McCall's vintage themed junk journal that we worked on. So there's a few process videos that I shared. Not completely every step of it is in the process video, but a good amount of what I did and went through. So check those out. I will leave them linked in the description box because there is 3 of them. And I'll also pin maybe like the first one up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a flip through of this journal. She is a little chunky for my, for what I usually do. So the base, just as a reminder, we used a folder, this type of folder here, or envelope, I should say. So envelope, right? And then we also we also painted the envelope white. So it is a McCall's 1981 sewing pouch that we used for the front cover and then the back cover as well. Coffee dyed seam binding, unattached closure, vintage lace on the spine. And I apologize if there's any lighting issues. I try to have good lighting, but then I have glares and reflections because my lights are up above. So I don't get enough natural light in this room. The journal measures 8 by 6.25. And let's go ahead and get started. It has roughly about 20 surface pages. So if you multiply that by 4, junk journal math, you have 80 surfaces to write and or collage on. Yeah. So, all right, let's get started. So the inside of the journal was a tissue paper. So the inside is the tissue paper from the actual, it actually matches 7748 of the McCall's packet. And then I also added a pocket front and back. There is a pocket that is crocheted lace trim, vintage crochet lace trim. So 2 large pockets. And in those pockets, we'll get to the back, but we'll do the front first, is just a collaged journaling card. So there's definitely more that you can do on this one. This is just neutral colors, and it's collaged, and it is backed with avocado dyed paper and sewn all the way around. I use the mixtures of paper. This is from a floral book. So we have a beautiful bouquet there. And on this side, oh my goodness, I forgot to put a tag in here. Okay, well, I'm going to have to make a tag because obviously I forgot. This will have a large journaling card, not a tag, a card in here. And this is one of my signature junk mailer pockets. So just a little bit of vintage scrapbook here, a little Sewing Notion stamp, some packing paper here, and then a little vintage stamp there. This is a music paper, but it's just lined music paper with no music on it, a paper doily, avocado dyed typewriter paper. This is a vintage music sheet. It was songs from MASH. I thought it was pretty cool. I know MASH was from the 70s and this sewing pattern is from the 80s. Just bear with me. I mixed and matched. This is another piece of that packing paper that I used a little snip right here of. And I just added it as a page with a little bit of a Sewing Notion and a beautiful washi image there. Definitely a lot of writing space. This is one of those workbook magazines, the smaller ones. I think a work basket. This I believe was from May of 1965, 65 or 69. We'll see the date on the other side. Wrinkles vanish from sight within seconds. Sign me up. And this is reinforced with a little bit of washi tape right here on the side, just because it is from the 1960s. I just wanted to make sure. I have all the years in here. I just realized that. This is 70s. This is 60s. This is 80s. I'm just giving it all. Here's another typewriter dyed paper, but it is coffee dyed this time with a little sewing machine, vintage sewing machine stamp notion. This is some vintage ruffle trim that I actually cut the seam here, or broke the seam so that it was not ruffled anymore. And it is thicker, but it is sewed on a 1960s dictionary page. Here is more typewriter paper. And you can hear the difference and feel the difference in typewriter paper when you get your hands on it. You might not be able to see it like from on the camera, but you definitely can if you've never kind of touched typewriter paper versus just regular copy paper. It is more translucent as well. This is coffee dyed or tea dyed. I can't remember. Just lined paper, and I added a little bit. I added a fabric tab here. This is vintage fabric. A reproduction invoice. This is a 1930s dictionary page that this side of it was covered with the sewing pattern tissue paper. And on this side of it, I just decoupaged a napkin flower. So I just cut a little napkin flower out and just decoupaged it on. Sewing directions. This is not from this sewing packet. This was from 6973. I don't even know if it was a McCall's one, to be honest with you, but I like to add little bits and pieces of sewing notion ephemera and papers in here. This is like a construction paper, but it is a heavy duty one. It's not like the construction paper I think that we were used to as kids that was super thin, and it was great for what we needed it to be for, right? But it definitely would rip very easily. This is a piece from a National Geographic's vintage map. This is another vintage music sheet. And on this one, I added a coffee filter, folded it to make a double pocket on each side, and then sewed it on. And I added this beautiful stamp. And, well, it says beautiful as well. So it's a stamp image of a young lady. And then this is I'm calling it, to me, it's a large sticker that you can place somewhere. And I'm going to tell you why. This is a repurposed mailer. So when you use a thermal printer, when you're printing stuff, when you order something and the company that you ordered it from, or the individual that you ordered it from uses a thermal printer, their thermal printers have papers on them that have sticky. So it's kind of like a giant sticker. Anyways, I repurposed some that I've received from Whatnot orders, or orders that I've gotten from other little like boutique places. And actually, I've gotten them from Walmart too, if I've ordered anything online from Walmart. And it's shipped to my house. But it's a sticker that you can use as a sticker, or you can use it just as a journaling card. So I did not sew around these, because if you did want to use it as a sticker, you could. Like I said, you would just peel the back and then just stick it on, and look how great it looks just right here. So let's say you feel that you don't need that much writing space right here in this center fold. Just peel back that sticker and stick it on, and automatic page decoration. Anyhow, I loved making these. These were great. So this is, like I said, a double pocket. So you have one pocket right there, and then you have, as you can see, your second pocket right there. So double pocket. On the other side, it's the same thing, double pocket, and the same thing as far as I repurposed a mailer. So here you can see UPS on the back. You can still definitely use this as a journaling spot, because you can write on it, but you can also unstick it and, like I said, put it down on maybe a blank page where you feel like it needs a little bit more of an accent, and you're good to go. Or what you can do too is you can just glue and put it down and make it a side pocket, or glue the sides, the bottom, and make it a top pocket. Oh, sorry, let me show you. And this is the image that I did on this one. I used a little boy. His mom's just here hanging out as he's blowing bubbles, happy moments, some stamping notions, some vintage rickrack, and some collaging in the background. And then on this filter here, I decided to use a man washi sticker. I think he is very dapper. And then I added a stamp that says Taylor. Avocado dyed paper here. And then just a little cluster with a button, a wooden button. This is a glassine bag that I just added in here. I added one of my page end clusters, and I just added a few Sewing Notion stamps. And in here, I just added just 3 little small goodies. They're just index cards. This has a stamp, and it has some piping, vintage piping, sewn on the bottom. And they're index cards with lines on this side so that you can take some notes. This is just a sticker of a fashion lady, and then a little bit of sewing right here. And then this is just a little scrap buster booklet. So I just had some of this scrap cardstock, lighter cardstock, and I added this vintage sewing machine stamp. And then I just grabbed a bunch of little papers that I had again in my stash of scraps, and did one staple in the middle. So just a little few. And then I had a Sewing Notion stamp right here and one right there. Again, all these things you can just do up so much more. This is just a start for you. And on this side, I just added a few stickers. Just random, I thought, just numbers. And you know how sometimes in your clothes you get the little numbers, like it's been inspected by number 2? This page was a collaged page, and I just added this Reproduction Fashion Collection magazine page on it. So this is the middle of the signature, and it's a Frankenstein page. So it's 2 book pages. Actually, it's probably 4 book pages just to give it a little bit of thickness. 4 book pages, and then I combined them with some scrap paper here. And then on this side, I just collaged on both of them. So this one, I added additional collage, and then this vintage magazine. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my words. This vintage magazine image. And then on this side, I just left the collage. I didn't do anything. There's some writing spots right here where it's blank, or you can add your own. But on the inside, what I did was I decoupaged flowers from 2 napkins. So I cut the flowers out, and then I decoupaged them. And then I added gesso on the top to kind of mute the words a little bit more so that you can actually write up here if you wanted to. This is the other side of the glassine bag. I just added a little paper cluster here with some tissue paper and a vintage button. And I just did an up tuck instead of a side tuck, and I just did this journaling tag. A little bit of vintage lace up at the top, just a little stamp here. This is embossed paper. I did not emboss it, nor did I, it looks like it's handmade paper, nor did I hand make that, just FYI. This is just, again, a little Sewing Notion stamp that I added to that glassine bag. Avocado dyed paper, the music sheet, one of the music sheets. This is the other side of the National Geographic's map. I just added a little Sewing Notion stamp. This is that construction paper. Here I just added tissue paper ruffle, so the sewing pattern tissue ruffle. that is sewn. And then I just added a ball pin and then a little button right there attached to it. This is, again, the other side of the instructions, the pattern instructions, sewing pattern instructions. The 1930s dictionary page, where on this side we decoupaged the tissue paper, and on this side we decoupaged a flower that we cut, napkin flower that we cut. And this page is sewn all the way around. This is the other side of the reproduction invoice. Just regular white lined paper. This is another copy dyed, I believe, typewriter paper. And it has another paper cluster that I added a little bit of that vintage ruffled trim that we had here. A little snippet piece and a little vintage button. Actually, I'm not sure if that button is vintage. So keep that in mind. Music. Oh no, this is the dictionary page, the 1960s dictionary page. And on this page, I just added this collaged piece. I kind of call them like face plates. So it's similar to this, where I made this one into a journaling card. It's book pages that I collaged. So I added like 2 or 3 book pages, glued them together, collaged on one side. The other side, you can either do coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper, regular paper, just make it into a journaling card. So any space where there's free open space to write on. Or you can choose not to cover the back like I did here and just make it into a pocket, or just a spot where it accents, again, a page that's blank or that has words that you're wanting to hide or whatever it is. So this one I chose just to make into a pocket. So it's again, it's book pages, and then I collaged music sheet scraps on it. And then on top of that, I added the sewing tissue paper. And then I did sew all the way around. And again, like I said, I made this one into a pocket. And in this pocket, I just added a large playing card, vintage playing card, a Yahtzee player scorecard, 1956. And I took, this was a piece from some Sewing Notion little packet that I had. And I've had this laying around for a while. So I just cut it in half and glued one side here and the other side here, just because it was directional. If not, one side would have been upside down. And this is just an index card that's been coffee or tea dyed. And I just added the little stamp of the Sewing Notion measuring tape. And that's it. Just something cute. So you can also decide to make this a tuck from the top. So I could have just glued these sides down and made a little notch up here so that it was like a pocket from the top. And again, this was the 1960s dictionary page. So plenty of room here for you to do something if you'd like. This is more coffee dyed typewriter paper. And down here, I just added a fabric ruffle. Just a little fabric ruffle. Here's that work basket in May of 1969. So this is the other side of it. Floating candle centerpiece, care of hand knits. Oh, how you take care of hand knits. Luxurious wool hand knits can be laundered with beautiful results when care is used. Very, very nice. And then obviously you have this side. This is the other side of that packing paper that has the polka dots on this side and plain on this side. Lots of writing space here. The other side of the vintage music sheet. That was the MASH song. And this one was from 1970. 71, sorry. 71. Oh, that's right. Because this says the 70s, so we kind of sort of knew that this was the 70s. Avocado dyed typewriter paper. Again, the paper doily. The blank music paper for you to do some doodling on. And the final page was that, again, that floral magazine. What I did was I added one of my little edge page end clusters. I added a little Sewing Notion stamp right there. And here I just added a sticker to Washi Ladies, and I did just do a little collage on the back. And it's just a pocket, just a side tuck. So this is just a reproduction magazine page of some wonderful looking hats. Are you a hat person? Do you like hats? I do like hats. I just don't wear them enough to have a lot of them, but I love all types of hats. And that's backed on file folder. No, did I back this on? No, I backed this on 2 book pages, and then I used some scraps of some vintage ledger, blank ledger paper as well. And that's it. Oh, sorry. No, it's not it. And the back part, is another pocket and another collage journaling card. Now this one, as you can see the book page, but I did add the tissue paper and sewed around so you can easily write or do something that you'd like on this side. And this side is open to your creativeness. So you can add additional images here or do some writing or whatever it is that you want to do. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this flip through, and I also hope that you enjoyed the little process videos that the craft with me videos that I posted to get us to this final point. And this journal will be available on my website, www.psencreations.com, or you can find it in my Whatnot marketplace as well. Links to both of these will be down below in the description box. I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.